Why people desire the ones they can't have. A deep dive into the psychology of unattainable love. Welcome back to the Love Alchemists. Whether you're new here or a returning reader, you've come to the right place to explore the intricate world of love, attraction, and desire. Today, we're tackling a question that has puzzled humanity for centuries. Why do we want what we can't have? Whether it's the crush who's already in a relationship, the emotionally distant partner, or the person who just won't commit, there's something about unavailability that makes us want them even more. But why does this happen? What is it about the unattainable that sparks such intense desire? In this video, we'll dive deep into the psychology of desire, uncovering the hidden forces that make unavailable people so irresistible. The psychology of scarcity, why we value what's rare. One of the most fundamental reasons we desire what we can't have is rooted in the psychology of scarcity. This principle suggests that when something is rare, limited, or hard to obtain, we automatically assign it a higher value. This isn't just true for romantic relationships, it applies to almost every aspect of life. Think about limited edition products, exclusive memberships, or even rare collectibles. The harder something is to get, the more we want it. In the context of relationships, this principle plays out in a fascinating way. When someone is emotionally or physically unavailable, whether they're already in a relationship, not ready to commit, or simply playing hard to get, our brain interprets their unavailability as a sign of high worth. Subconsciously, we think, if they're so hard to get, they must be special. This triggers an instinctive drive to pursue them, even if they might not be the best match for us. The psychology of scarcity taps into our primal instincts. In ancient times, resources that were scarce, like food, shelter, or mates, were often the most valuable. Our brains are wired to prioritize what's rare because, historically, scarcity meant survival. While this instinct might not serve us as well in the modern world, it still influences our behavior, especially when it comes to love and desire. The forbidden fruit effect, the allure of what's off limits. The concept of the forbidden fruit effect is as old as time itself. Think back to the story of Adam and Eve. The moment something is labeled as off limits, it becomes infinitely more tempting. This effect is deeply ingrained in human psychology. When someone is unavailable, whether they're in a relationship, emotionally distant, or simply uninterested, our mind fixates on them even more. The very fact that we can't have them makes them seem more desirable. This phenomenon isn't just limited to romantic relationships. It applies to anything that's restricted or forbidden. For example, when a parent tells a child not to touch a certain toy, that toy suddenly becomes the most interesting thing in the room. Similarly, when someone is unattainable, our brain interprets their unavailability as a challenge. We become obsessed with the idea of winning them over, even if it's not in our best interest. The forbidden fruit effect also ties into our natural curiosity and desire for exploration. We're drawn to the unknown, the mysterious, and the unattainable because they represent a challenge. In the context of relationships, this can lead to unhealthy patterns, where we chase after people who aren't good for us simply because they're hard to get. The dopamine chase, the thrill of the pursuit. Another key factor in why we desire what we can't have is the role of dopamine, the brain's feel-good chemical. Dopamine is released when we anticipate a reward, and it's this anticipation that often drives our behavior. When someone is unpredictable, sometimes showing interest, sometimes pulling away, it creates a cycle of intermittent reinforcement that keeps us hooked. Intermittent reinforcement is a powerful psychological tool. It's the same mechanism that keeps gamblers addicted to slot machines. You never know when the next win will come, so you keep playing, hoping for that next hit of dopamine. In relationships, this plays out when someone is hot and cold, showing just enough interest to keep you hooked, but never enough to fully commit. The unpredictability of their behavior creates a thrilling emotional roller coaster, and we mistake this chaos for passion or love. The problem with the dopamine chase is that it's unsustainable. Once the chase is over, whether you win the person or finally give up, the thrill fades. This is why relationships that start with a lot of chasing and drama often fizzle out once the excitement wears off. What we thought was love was often just the thrill of the pursuit. The ego and validation factor, proving our worth. Another reason we're drawn to unavailable people is that we often tie our self-worth to their validation. When someone is hard to get, winning them over feels like an accomplishment. It's not always about love, it's about ego. We want to prove to ourselves, and sometimes to others, that we're desirable enough to capture their attention. This need for validation can stem from deeper insecurities or a lack of self-esteem. If we don't feel worthy of love, we might seek out people who are emotionally unavailable because their indifference mirrors our own feelings about ourselves. By chasing someone who doesn't want us, we're subconsciously trying to prove that we're worthy of love. The problem with this pattern is that it's a never-ending cycle. Even if we do manage to win over the unavailable person, the validation we get is often short-lived. Once the chase is over, we're left feeling empty because the real issue, our lack of self-worth, hasn't been addressed. How to break free from the cycle. If you've ever found yourself obsessing over someone who just wasn't available, you're not alone. This pattern is incredibly common, but it's also one that can be broken. Here are some steps to help you break free from the cycle of chasing unavailable people. Recognize the pattern. The first step to breaking any cycle is awareness. Ask yourself, am I truly attracted to this person, or am I just drawn to the challenge? Be honest with yourself about your motivations. Reframe your mindset. Instead of valuing someone for their unavailability, start valuing those who reciprocate your energy. Healthy relationships are built on mutual respect and effort, not on one-sided chasing. Boost your self-worth. Work on building your self-esteem so that you don't need validation from someone who won't choose you. Remember, your worth isn't determined by whether or not someone wants you. Shift your focus. The right person won't make you chase them, they'll meet you halfway. Focus on building connections with people who are emotionally available and willing to invest in a relationship. Practice self-compassion. Be kind to yourself as you work through these patterns. Breaking old habits takes time, and it's okay to stumble along the way. What matters is that you're making progress. Desire is a powerful force, but it doesn't have to control you. By understanding the psychological mechanisms behind why we want what we can't have, you can start to break free from unhealthy patterns and attract the kind of love you truly deserve. Whether it's the psychology of scarcity, the forbidden fruit effect, the dopamine chase, or the need for validation, these forces are all part of what makes us human. But with awareness and intentionality, you can rewrite your love story. So, love alchemists, have you ever found yourself obsessing over someone just because they were unavailable? What steps have you taken to break free from this cycle? Let's continue the conversation in the comments below. And if you're ready for more deep insights into love, attraction, and psychology, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. Until next time, stay magnetic.